Slam poetry.
He doesn't care if it's perfect.
It's time to slam now.
It's the biggest poem I've got inside of me.
She was a thief. You run
To love means to love a haunted house.
Yelling, angry.
Blood-black nothingness began to spin.
Specific point of view on
To
things.
this day, I hate pork chops.
I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the pod is so delightful. Welcome back to I Think, Therefore I Slam. I'm your host, Andrew. Hopefully all you Christmas in July people are enjoying this time. Maybe you've got the pod on in the background as a little bit of mood audio. I don't know, do with it what you will. Very excited today. I Think, Therefore I Slam. You know, sometimes we have really established artists that have been doing their craft for a very long time come on. But I also believe in getting on fresh voices and fresh artists, fresh faces, fresh everything. So our guest today, we ran into each other at a recent open mic at Littlefoot and Company, and she was very excited to come on board. Welcome to the show, the Empress Kiara.
Hi, nice to be here today.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think it's perfect weather for podcasting today. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think it is. It's good to stay in and stay nice and warm. But you know what? The outside weather is very blissful and it's nice to write as well with the little rain going on.
Oh, yeah. Love the sound of rain. Absolutely love the sound of rain. I'll get my little herbal tea later and maybe have a bit of a sesh. Sounds good. All right, we're going to jump straight into things. Kiara, you're bringing the fire with your first piece. Did you want to intro this in any way?
Okay, so this was just a little muse of mine for the time being. And yeah, I'll get into it. You have the juiciest lips, such a tease, be my muse. I will never misuse. Don't touch my heart, don't want to be pleased. I'm just ready to seize. Think I'm going to cry when you leave? Please, this is no basic rerun. Never going to see it twice, never too nice. Can you please put out the fire with that ice? Fumes coming through, time I take flight. I don't need no shining night.
Yo!
Yeah, that was a bit of a fire little piece there.
Yeah, loved it. You're a little bit different to some of our guests because you are very much taking pretty blatant elements of hip hop and infusing them into spoken word. And I was saying to you before that, you know, hip hop and spoken word, they're not that far apart. They're kind of like cousins or brothers or sisters. So tell us about how you got started in writing your stuff and starting to share your work.
Okay, so I've been writing for a very, very long. I know that everyone says they've been writing since they can ever remember, but I remember it was a lot poetry for me to begin with. And I think it was infused with a lot of muses for me. So like, I know, hate to say this, but guys that I was like dating or seeing for a long time, I think my emotions connected to them had a lot involved in my writing. And I think then it went through stages of like, you know, me being really into them and then me not wanting them and things like that. So I think that at the time it was more about me thinking like, yeah, you're beautiful, but I don't need you kind of thing. And it started off writing a lot of poetry. Then it was started to write a bit of shorter poetry. And then it was more like quick poetry. It was more like just short words or short little sentences that became just something short, but something catchy as well. And I think that's more my style at the moment, more than like longer kind of paragraphs. It's more just like fun, small pieces.
Love it. Love it. Did you see on Zoom just now that it did a little thumbs up when you did the thumbs up?
Oh, did it?
It did. That was cool. It was like it was listening to you and like, yeah, come on.
I know. It was like, yeah, I know. Maybe I should do it some more often just to pump myself up.
I wonder what else it recognizes. I've never seen that before. That must be a new thing.
I know. I brought that to the table. What are you talking about?
Exactly. It was all pre-planned.
All pre-planned.
So it was guys behaving maybe not so nicely that first inspired you to pen some words, yeah?
Not that they were just not inspiring me anymore. They weren't doing anything for me. At one point, I just wanted to put my hand in the cookie jar and try every cookie. But then I realized, you know what? That's not even worth it. And I don't need no cookies in my life. And that's it. That was just the end of it. That was the end of the era of me being having a guy as my muse, you know what I mean? And then it was just like, girl, you got it going on. You're your own muse.
Yeah, take those cookies back. So nowadays, you just said that you're your own muse. Tell us about that. What kind of things are inspiring you nowadays?
I'm basically like not egotistical to say this, but I am so in love with myself. Like sometimes I just look in the mirror and not just look at my like physical appearance, but sometimes I'm just like, you are so resilient, you are so determined, like everything about you is just amazing. So when I write, it's like poured that energy into my writing of self-empowerment, just loving yourself and that high energy that like I normally bring in my everyday life to my poetry as well.
Love it. Well, I think, self-esteem is super important, and having that, I guess, hype girl persona is really important in terms of what hip hop's about. I think it's Mel Robbins who talks about high-fiving yourself in the mirror. It sounds really, really kooky, but by doing that, by looking yourself in the eye, looking your reflection in the eye and high-fiving yourself, it's almost that sign of self-acceptance and being your own best friend. I think that's really important because, yeah, it's good to have other people supporting you, but how you feel about yourself, I think, is really important.
Yeah, I believe that too. And the way I feel about myself, like when I'm like, oh, I love myself so much, like I want other people to not be like, I love you too. I want other people to be like, hey, like she can love herself. I can love myself too. That's the vibe I'm giving out. I want people to be like, I can be my true self and I can be unique and I can be unapologetically myself and I can pour that love into myself because everyone deserves that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, preach. It's a good mission to have. I think we could all use a good dose of that. You told me before that you've been performing and touring, if you like, your work around different gigs in Melbourne for about a year. Is that
Yeah,
right?
about 2 years. So a long time ago, maybe like 2.5 years ago, I started seeing a vocal coach and she basically told me like, hey, like you should start perform. It's so funny how small people like change like your complete aspect in life. But she was like to me, you should like there's these places you can go like open mic nights and you can perform there. So I started looking like just I looked on Facebook and I found like all these groups that did spoken mics and I messaged every single one of them and I was like, when's your next spoken night? Like, how does it work? Blah, blah, blah. And they were like, oh, you just come, you sign up on the night and then that's it. Like you basically just perform. So I would go around to like, I can't remember all the names, but I would go like at least like once every 3 weeks to like, normally they'd be like in little bars, you know what I mean? Like little bar, like a bar set up, and then they'll just be like an intimate crowd. But you can tell that this is like a regular things. Like all these places are regular and you'll have like regular people showing up and things like that. And I would just perform and I'd get more confident. And then I would just really enjoy myself. And it became like something I do for myself and made me feel confident. And especially when people are like interested in what you're saying, come up. And the best thing is, I feel like this happens to everyone that after the show, you have someone come up to you, even if it's just one person, they come up to you, they're like really vibe with what you're saying and things and your poetry. And that just makes you feel so nice that you feel like someone relates to what you're saying. And if you can help one person go home and be like in a happy mood just because of what you said, that's amazing.
Absolutely. And you were telling me that you really went for it in a very kind of physical way. You said that you were dancing around while doing your pieces and channeling your inner Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, well, when I finished doing my poetry, I realized that my poetry actually really sounded more like rap. So I'd go to these like rap nights. I'd be like the only girl there too. So I was like all these guys like rapping and I'm just like out here. And the first time I rapped to a beat, because I never rapped to a beat before, and I did actually really well. At one stage, I said I was like, I'm the female Yeezy. Honestly, that was one of the things that I said. And when I looked back at the videos and I was like, who am I? I'm acting like I'm performing to an arena. I'm like twerking, dancing around, like it's so inappropriate. But I honestly loved it. And like I might seem very confident and stuff like that, but in a group environment, like I'm not that confident. But when I'm on stage, like I'll do say whatever and I'm confident with that.
Yeah, and that's so valuable. I remember last episode with Tabani, we talked a bit about the difference between the slam scene in Australia and the slam scene in somewhere like America, where people are much more comfortable owning the stage and owning the space and being like, hey, I am the female Yeezy. I'm the best. Everybody look at me. So it's so cool that you were able to bring that energy. That would have been great to see. And you brought that to Littlefoot the other night as well. Let's talk a little bit more about hip hop because I am a really big music fan and I listen quite widely, genre wise, but hip hop is one of those things that I've never quite been able to crack open as a music fan. And I think it's because, look, it's probably because of cultural factors. I am the whitest white boy ever. And so I always found like emo.
Right. You look like you tan in summer. You don't look like you go red.
I'm lobster man. I'm Zoidberg in summer. I was always more drawn to emo music or pop punk or whiny white boy stuff. I wasn't from the culture that a lot of rap kind of comes out of. So I'm interested in your take in, who are your favorite artists and what about rap and hip hop appeals to you?
I would say it's changed over the time, but I've been listening to hip hop like Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, like growing up. That's all I remember listening to. But I think recently it's been like a lot of female rappers like Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, all like Ice Spice, like a lot of them artists. And I think because a lot of them are like something that I do, like they're just really quick raps. And they're really fast and they're very empowering as well. But then if I had to have a look at the more like the male vibes, I'll look a little bit about J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, 21 Savage, and things like that, Tiger, Jack Harlow. But a lot of them, I think it's more that I look at lyrical aspect, more like the beat obviously has to be killer. Like, it has to be killer because you listen to the first couple of seconds and then you're in or out. But I feel like I listen to more of the lyrics as well because when you're a writer, you appreciate the lyrics more than just the beat or anything like that, So I feel like a lot of them are lyrical geniuses because they write from themselves and they don't have any ghostwriters. So I feel like I appreciate them artists more than just having someone else write for you and just performing it.
Yeah, nice. And I think it continues to have millions and millions of fans all over the world. And we saw Doja Cat's Paint the Town Red, right? It won the Hottest 100 this year. We're seeing older acts make comebacks. Eminem's coming back to...
Eminem, I can't forget Eminem. He's a lyrical genius. I could not forget Eminem.
And it's so funny to see him just ruffle feathers again, as he's always done. He's always pushing the envelope and getting under people's skin and having a lot of success because of it.
Yeah, 100%. And he's just not stopping. Every year, he's just getting better and better. Like, everyone's like, he's not going to come back and and then he comes back and just kills it.
Yeah, nice. Do you like Childish Gambino?
Of course, I like Childish Gambino. I think one of my favorite songs is 3005. And one of the best lines, he goes, "Why is you lying? Why you Mufasa?" And I love that line. It's not even that much of a good line, but every time it came on, I was like, "Why are you lying? Why are you Mufasa?"
Didn't Donald Glover, who I came to through his acting work through like Community, I mean, the guy's incredibly talented. He writes, he sings, he acts. He must have just a crazy schedule at the moment. Didn't he end up as a voice in the Lion King remake? Is that right?
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah, I think he did, which is amazing.
Yeah, how good. And you channeled all this energy into this recent project of yours. You actually did an audio book.
Yeah, it was like an a cappella. I don't even know if I classify myself as a poet or rapper, but I'm just saying like a bit of both. So I did like a cappella poetry rap pieces, and they're very short. They're only like 30 seconds, but they were fire. I had so many bars in them, and I was just like, you know what? That's amazing. And I don't know about this, but after you do work, I don't listen to like my own stuff for ages because after I've done it, I don't want to listen to it like when I've done it. But like I listened to it the other day and I'm like, nah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I checked it out myself and it's just 6 or 7 minutes of back-to-back little snippets with an intro and an outro. You called it the beginning of the Empress, and I know your stage name is the Empress Kiara. So was this about you creating that persona?
Yeah, it was like my first thing that I put out like properly. Obviously, I've been performing and things, but my first thing I've been put out properly before I did the videos on Instagram and stuff. So I just did that. And the funny thing is, I have so much content that all of them parts were already on my phone. So like all I had to do was record it. It was so perfect to do because I had the pieces already. But that's what my vibe is. It's just small little snippets. It's not like anything too long. And if you've realized, there's no like theme to it. There's not like one theme. It's just fun little parts, like just different parts.
Yeah, great. Short and sweet and pithy. That can be really powerful alongside longer works or whatever. The sound quality is great. You really did it properly. You said you had a producer involved. Talk us through all the things that had to come together. Where did you record it?
So Ben Barker is the producer and he's such a vibe. He's just like comfortable, like he's funny. Everything about recording with him was so easy. And he actually really helped me to do the back end things as well, like to set up the audiobook as well. So shout out to him. But yeah, so I did a few sessions because I had to get comfortable with new because this is the first time I was in a studio. So it took about like 4 or 5 sessions and we just recorded it and then like slowly I got more confident and I was able to be myself and things like that. But yeah, it took about 4 or 5 sessions and about hour sessions and we just put it together in that time frame.
So good. And was he constantly showing you things and getting input from you about how you wanted it, or did he take the reins and bundle it up?
Well, at the start, I don't think he wanted to like interfere with like my vibe. And then I was like, Ben, you have to help me. Like, you have to tell me, like, we'll record some and tell me which one do you think is better. Because I don't think he wanted to interfere.
Mm.
But I was like, Ben, we've got to do this properly. So then, like, he got more involved and then we made it fire. You know what I mean? And then he was telling me, like, okay, then maybe this part do this part do this, and then we made it fire together. But I didn't know anything. All I wanted to do was record this audio book, and that's all I knew. But yeah, so we did it together mostly, and yeah, as I got more confident, it sounded way better, and it sounded so crisp because all of his equipment was so new and was so perfect that
Mm.
my voice was just so crisp in it, and you couldn't hear anything else besides my voice.
Was it weird having all that professional equipment for the first time and feeling like you were really able to get into that persona in the studio and have that and hear your voice coming through? What did that feel like?
Well, it's so funny because the first one I did, I started singing. I don't even know why, but I had this microphone and I was just singing it. And I'm not even a good singer. And it was so funny. I was laughing. I'm like, Ben, I honestly don't even know why I'm singing. This is ridiculous. And then slowly I was able to like get into it because you don't know what to do. Like the first time you're on the microphone, you don't know how to project yourself. And especially when you have the headphones on and like all of them things. But now it's a good thing because now I know how to record. I can go into any studio and I can record and I can feel comfortable because I know what I'm capable of. Even when I was performing the other day at Bunjil Place, like I felt confident and my voice was clear and everything was fine because of the experience that I've had previously.
Yeah. And now you can take that through to your next project, whether that be singing or rapping or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
I probably would have done the same thing with the equipment. I would have been like singing show tunes. I would have been like doing voices and be like, what does this sound like?
Yeah, and I can't believe I started singing. Like, why would I even think of singing?
I think you were just having fun. It was, it would have been kid in a candy shop time for me. It would have been
Yeah,
so cool.
exactly.
Oh, that's awesome that you found a collaborator that really understood what you were going for and really helped you realize that vision. So yeah, I checked it out the other day. I bought it on Spotify. It was a couple of bucks. I really believe in supporting local artists and, I'd encourage all our listeners to support local artists as well. One thing that I don't think we've talked about on the show is I'm curious, did you have any say in like deciding on how to price your work, or was that all set in stone?
So the way it works is once you do the back end things to make, because I put out an audiobook, not an artist, it actually tells you how much to price it.
Oh,
And I
okay.
didn't put it at like the lowest price because I'm not trying to do it to make money. And I know on some platforms you can actually listen to it for free, but I wasn't trying to do money, especially when you do like your first couple of things. You just want to like have people appreciate your work more than just like a dollar figure that you're having in return,
Yes. No,
you know?
totally. And I mentioned before that it's crazy how we all have big artists that I'm sure we admire and we buy their merch and we buy their albums and whatever. But sometimes we are so hesitant to support local artists or people who are having a crack or people that we know, even when their price point is really good and competitive. There's this whole kind of loss aversion. And so, yeah, I think it's priced perfectly, like for what it is. And like you said, you're just doing it to get a foot in the door. It's not about some massive corporate machine or anything like that. So, congratulations on getting it out there, is what I'm saying.
Thank you.
And we'll have a bit more information later in the show about how people at home can hear the beginning of The Empress by the Empress Kiara. You told me earlier that you're actually now part of a writing group.
Yeah, so it's not just a writing group. So it's called YTS Academy. So basically what it is, it's a people that collaborate together, like videographers, photographers, writers, artists, rappers, singers, all of them things. And we're trying to promote new and upcoming artists. And we're trying to help them put their name out, get their name out. And like, for instance, there'll be like someone putting on a show or and have like a few sets available. Then they'll be like, does anyone want to have a set? So it will be like people can perform at their sets, or there'll be people that there'll be DJs and they'll have like DJ sets. It's really just a group of people helping each other out. That's what it is. And it's for new and upcoming artists to be able to help them out as well. So I'm part of that group and we meet every so often on Zoom and we're trying to get face-to-face meetings. But you know, it's hard because everyone's got their producers, everyone's got their shows, everyone's got this. So we try to meet on Zoom and like collaborate and think of ideas of how we can move forward with the academy.
That's so good because that gives you an opportunity to share your experience, but also learn from others and lift each other up, which is what I'm trying to do with this show. And it's really good to see that people are interested in giving back, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. And you know what? It's all about that. It's not like just about making money, or you know how they say kindness is a reward. So it's like the more you help others or the more you put yourself out there to accomplish more things with other people, the better return you're going to get. That's how it works. It's like you help someone out and in the future you might need help, like with the group, if I needed a beat, I could get a beat made like that. It's no issues. I don't have to worry about trying to collaborate with someone to make the best beat that I can. I can just go into the group and say, yo, I need a beat like this, and someone can help me make a beat.
Yeah, nice. It's the circle of life, speaking of the Lion King.
Did you know my name's from the Lion King? So Kiara is from the Lion King.
Is that right? Which character's Kiara?
Kiara's, I think isn't it like, is Simba the little one?
Oh man, you're testing me here. I don't know all the characters. I feel a bit ignorant.
No, Kiara's the female cub in the Lion King.
Oh, no way. I didn't know that. I know that there's Simba and Nala and do they have kids? Do Simba and Nala have kids and name one Kiara?
I don't know, but there's
Ooh.
Kiara and the Lion King. I know that because everyone like brings that to my attention. I'm like, just relax.
Just relax. There's a couple of Disney fans listening right now that are absolutely yelling, going, how could you not know this? So
Yeah, I know, right?
yeah. Speaking of
And I'm out here just saying, just relax. You don't remember, and I'm like, just relax. We're looking real good right now.
just getting roasted. This is going to get remixed somewhere, being like, I cannot believe this guy. I'll have to rewatch it at some point. I got it on 4K recently, The Lion King, the OG. So I'll have to give it a rotation at some point. Speaking of making beats, I did offer you as part of today's interview that I could beatbox a bit while you did your pieces, but we thought it would be too difficult to try and line up the sound. So we'll forget about that.
That's something that's on my to-do list to get better at.
Yeah, nice. An aspiration.
Aspiration, exactly.
Love it. Now, Kiara, you live in Casey, which is a beautiful part of Greater Melbourne and a very diverse, very culturally diverse part of Greater Melbourne. I used to live there myself, and that diversity is something that I really miss. Are you coming across other people in your local community that are doing similar things to you?
Yeah, I am. Because the way that I met the one that created the group for YTS Academy, I met him out locally. And so majority of the people that are part of the group are in the southeast. So it's perfect.
Love that. Love that. And I know that there's even some new venues that have popped up in the southeast. Like, isn't there a club like across the road from Fountain Gate where I know they've had like the
That's
Rogue
why I met
Traders?
him. That's
Oh,
why
no way.
he performed there. So
Oh,
they have like local performance like every so often. And so I went to go see the performance, not to go to the club because I have no business being at a club anymore. But I went no, I went to see his performance and that's how I met him that night.
so good. Yeah, I've been learning about this venue. I know the Rogue Traders played there. Do you know what it's called?
It's called District.
Yeah, nice. There you go.
Yeah.
And are you going to like live gigs of local artists and even those bigger hip hop artists, those people that have been inspirations for you? Have you been able to go to some shows and really see your heroes close up? I don't know.
Well, the last one I went to was Section 8, and that was maybe like a month or two ago. But do try and get out there, but it just really depends. It depends like what my schedule is. It just depends on a lot of things because to be honest, I don't go out that late anymore because I'm out of control. So it will only be someone that I'm really supporting that will go out there. But I want to perform more now after my last performance. So I will be hitting up a lot of them places. But I think more rap nights than poetry nights.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Sounds good. I do like the fact that I think those R&B Fridays gigs are coming back and doing big numbers. I know some friends have gone to those and seen some artists there. Awesome.
At Laundry, they have a hip hop night. And there used to be a blue bar. It used to be a blue bar, but I think maybe they got a bit larger. And now, so if anyone wants to perform a hip hop night, there's one at Laundry that they do as well. So if you check out their page.
Beautiful. Fantastic little plug there. All right, let's hear your second piece.
Okay.
Kiara, did you have an intro for this one?
I'll see which one I'm gonna do. So
Sure,
this
take your time.
one, I'll do a shorter one, this one. This is just about getting rid of people that are just like snaking in your life, like just not good in your life. Snakes, get away, them fakes, get the cash in the rake, put your hand on the brake. Your ass could start earthquake. Make it shake. You're a thick milkshake. Take you out for steak. Jet to an escape. Never be replaced. Where's my gold pink cape? That's my short little piece. I took out some swear words in it because I didn't know if it was appropriate or not to swear in this
No, that's
podcast.
absolutely fine.
Oh, it is fine. I took some out because I was like, oh, I don't want to be like ratchet and start like on the podcast for the first time. You know what I mean?
It's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine. So maybe next time you do it somewhere, you'll get the full effect. Getting those snakes out of here.
And them snakes out of here.
Cool. I want to dive into creativity at large. We always like talking about this. So, what helps you generate new ideas and put them into your work, Kiara?
Well, every day I spend my time doing a lot of creative things. So I listen to a lot of music, I draw, I paint, I journal a lot, and then I write my music. But writing's like on and off. So sometimes I can go without writing for a week, but then sit down and write like 5 pieces in one day. So it really depends on like the mood that I'm in. But what brings on creativity for me is I think listening to a lot of music and not like replicating the music I'm listening to, but kind of like being in that vibe, being in like the vibe, the zone. So if I'm in like a high energy zone, then I'll be writing like high energy things. If I'm more like of a chill vibe, then I'm writing something a bit more chill. But I think we both know that a lot of my pieces are high energy. So I think that most of my music is high energy, But I think that doing everything creative, like even drawing and even dancing, like I dance for like an hour in front of my mirror every night. So I feel what a coincidence. Like that's not a surprise to me. But yeah, so like I dance in front of my mirror like every night. So I think just like putting a little bit of creativity in everything that I do, just like as a whole, keeps me in a creative mindset.
Wow. Is this like a floor to ceiling mirror we're talking about?
Yeah.
Nice. And do you find that, I know you've mentioned that you're taking some dance classes or dance workshops or whatever. Do you find that, when you are moving your body, does that help unlock more words and vice versa?
Yeah, when I was younger, I had like a mirror from wall to wall. And I remember I could come home from school and just dance for hours in front of the mirror. And I think that as I grew older, the time shortened of how long I danced for, but I kind of incorporated that still. And I feel like being creative in anything makes you more creative in every
Mm.
aspect of your life. So because I draw, because I dance, and I love looking at myself, to be honest. I love looking at myself and dancing and just like, being in that vibe. So that energy helps me write, and then drawing helps me write, and writing helps me draw. So I think it's just kind of like a circle of love.
Yeah, it's all kind of interconnected wherever it is in the brain. The things that we take in through our eyes come out through our mouths, what we take in through our ears come out through our hands or whatever. It's all, I think you're absolutely right. When you expose yourself to different types of expression and other people's expression, it just becomes part of the circle, part of the soup that we can create from.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm like all over creative. Everything I do is just creative. I enjoy every aspect of it, whether it's writing, drawing, painting, dancing, just anything creative makes me happy. And I do it all day. You know what I mean? That's all I do. And you know what I do believe? I believe that either you're a creator or you're a worker, right? And I'm definitely a creator because when you create things, and anything creative, like I don't think that anyone that creates something, it's good or bad because it's coming from nothing. Like it's coming from your mind into existence. So I can appreciate anything someone's saying or drawing or dancing even or doing any of that. I can appreciate that because it's art and art comes from nothing. So that's amazing as it is.
Oh, yeah. There's something really awe-inspiring about the fact that at one point there was nothing there. There was a blank page. There was a blank track, whatever. And then suddenly something appeared from somewhere through someone. Someone brought something to life. They made a piece of artwork. They made a piece of writing. They, I don't know, constructed a beautiful building like Bunjil Place. I do love that building.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's stunning, isn't it? With these dances and stuff, are you like creating routines to different music or are you just free flowing? Yeah, what's it like?
I'm just like some hip hop, Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B kind of dancing because I'm listening to that music, you know what I mean? So I'm twerking and shit. What are you talking about? I'm like to no one either. It's like in the mirror twerking and I'm like, what am I doing with my life? But not just twerking, but yeah, just like dance, more like hip hop and rap dancing, like what you'd see on like music videos kind of thing.
Yeah, and you're doing it for the love of it and you're doing it for yourself, which is cool.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just doing it for myself. And especially like when I do make my rap and then everything falls into places because when I make my video clip, like I can choreograph it with other people and I can make it to be what I want to be. And it can, because it's going to be that energy of that kind of like raps. It's a rap. So it's going to need like that style of dancing. So that will come in handy. See how it all works out. It
Mm.
just all will flow into what it's meant to be.
Love it. Love it. And dancing, it is something that's quite vulnerable. People say, oh, I don't dance, or I hate dancing, or I can only dance when I'm under the influence of this or that. I went to a salsa class for the first time the other week, and it was interesting, and I had a lot of fun. It's not something that I feel really motivated to jump back into, but I was really encouraged that it was a big group. It was a big community. There were maybe, I don't know, 50 or 60 people in this room. And they did this thing where they were celebrating people's birthdays for the month. So they got people in the center of a circle. We all cheered. They got a cake. But then something happened, which I'd never seen happen at any kind of birthday celebration, where people started like rotating in the circle and like dancing. And then people would partner up and dance in the center. And I was like, this is wild. But I liked it. It was so far out there.
I thought you were going to say someone came out of the cake and started salsa dancing.
That would have been even cooler, actually, if it was one of those life-size ones. I was just a little cupcake. But yeah, definitely a unique experience. But yeah, I think dancing is very vulnerable and can be very disarming as well, especially like contemporary dance or when you find the right music paired with the movements. It's very moving.
100%. I've done contemporary dance and I've done salsa. I go through moments when I'm like, I want to do this, and then I'll do it for like 10 or something. I don't know. I'm like that. I like trying new things because I hate staying stagnant in life. Stagnant is like my actual, like, my worst nightmare. So if I feel like nothing is changing, then I have to mix things up because I don't want to stay stagnant because you're not learning, you're not growing, you're not moving forward. So, of course, it's good to be level. Like, you don't have to be like, oh, I'm gonna start like breakdancing because I'm not doing anything with my life, so I'm gonna start breakdancing. But what I mean, it's good to like just continuously be learning and growing.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, the literal movement of your body, I think, helps the metaphorical movement of everything else in your life. And we know all the benefits on many levels of moving your body. I'm sure we've all had a really great workout and that's helped us solve a problem in another point in our lives, or a difficult conversation becomes easier sometimes when you're walking together, for example. There's something about the body connected to the mind, connected to the creative mind, that one thing starts moving and everything else loosens up.
I think so too. And like you said just before, I think walking, especially outside, does so many wonders for you. Like just being outside in nature and walking. I do that a lot. And oh my goodness, it's so good for your soul.
Do you get over to Wilson's Park in Berwick?
I go to Wilson's Botanical Gardens and then I also go to Berwick Springs. I don't know if you've been to the Berwick Springs
Yeah.
Lake.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's really close to me. So I go to either Berwick Springs or Botanical Gardens. Have you been to Cranbourne Botanical Gardens? It's actually quite nice there.
Yeah, I have. And it's you kind of step into it and you feel like you're in the red center in some parts, the way that they've curated all these indigenous
I know.
plants. There's some great lookouts there as well. So yeah, getting out in nature is so important. I want to know if you can relate to facing any kind of like creative blocks in your life, or do you, a lot of our guests, we've talked about how we deal with feelings of perfectionism or feelings of like, oh, I've just written this thing, I don't think it's very good. How do you move through those kind of barriers?
I'm really not that hard on myself. Like I'm really kind to myself and I don't really put pressure on myself to achieve or do anything in a certain time frame. I'm sorry if this is not the answer you wanted, but
I no, I don't want any answers.
okay,
I
cool,
want your
cool,
answer.
cool,
Yeah.
cool. Because I don't really face any blocks because if I just don't feel like it's a time for me, it's just not the time for me. And I feel I don't put pressure on my writing or I don't put pressure on creating or anything like that because I know that it's going to come. Even if I don't write for like 2 or 3 weeks, I know there's going to be a time where I'm just going to sit there and write like 10 pieces in half an hour. You know what I mean? I know my capabilities. I know that I'm not going to be hard on myself for not being able to do something. I don't have any deadlines because I create my own time. So I don't work towards, oh, I have to have this completed by then. I have to have this completed by then, you know. Or maybe at this moment, I'm not in a situation where I need to complete things at a certain deadline to put that pressure on myself. You know what I mean? And I think that because I'm doing so many creative things, if one aspect is not like doing me any favors at that time, I'll move over to the next aspect. And I'm not like, I don't really face any blocks because I'm creating in so many different ways that I don't really consider myself having blocks. I just consider myself having some time, some more time to complete things, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That's awesome. Like I said, the only answer that I want is your answer, Kiara. And it sounds like your answer is really refreshing in that it sounds like you got a really good creative practice that has all these different aspects to it. And yeah, if you kind of hit a small bit of resistance somewhere, you can change tact and it's going to come back around again. But that's self-compassion. That was the first thing you mentioned. And I think that's the key, to see yourself as fun and enjoyment being the goal And when you have that self-compassion of like, hey, let's have fun with it, let's not take it too seriously, even though you clearly care about it a lot, you're also willing to not take yourself too seriously. Yeah.
No, not at all. But I give one tip that's really, really, really good just for creative activity is you write like maybe let's just write something simple like happiness, okay? So you just write happiness on a piece of paper and then you can just write lines, like write bars to do with happiness in considering your own life. So like and in different topics. And I feel like that's a really, there's nothing to do with anything, but that's a really good writing exercise because you can put any topic like determination, resilience, this, and you can relate it to your life and put how you've been resilient and also write a line that's like considered for it. You know what I mean? Because I think what people also forget is like the challenges that they've had in the past, how they've overcome it and how they've moved past it. And then when they're faced with something else, they forget of how amazing they are and how amazing they've handled situations in the past. And like when you face an obstacle, you just put another tool in your toolbox. And then when you face another one, you can use that tool for the toolbox. So like when you're putting into writing, you know, you have to realize all the amazing things you have written. And this is just like a stump in the road, but you can use the obstacle, like you can use your toolboxes from the past to face the next one.
Ah, that's great. Fantastic advice. I think that could be really helpful for maybe someone who's facing the dreaded writer's block or they just can't
Yeah.
find a new angle. Just have a good old-fashioned head dump, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because you should always be amazed of how resilient and determined you've been in the past, and don't forget who you are and who you've been in the past and the things you've overcome, and you can use that now to be like, hey, I've overcome that before. You think I can't do this? You know?
I bet you there will be someone listening right now who they'll feel like you're talking directly to them. They'll be like, oh my God. So cool. All right. So we have this kind of visual metaphor on the show where we talk about going to like a dinner party, a slam or a wrap dinner party, and everyone's trying to bring the main dish, the turkey, but that's not going to work because it's too much of one thing. I want you to let us know, what dish does your work bring to the party, Kiara?
Good energy.
Good energy. What's a kind of meal that represents good energy?
A meal that represents good energy is caviar. No, I'm joking.
Ooh, yeah, a bit bougie.
A bit bougie. No, probably a meal. I don't know. What would be good energy meal? Probably a good mocktail. Does it have to be a meal? Can it be a good mocktail?
Mocktail is fine. Some people consider mocktails a meal, so
Yeah,
it's
so I'll
fine.
do like a fresh lemon mocktail.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. I'm sure there's plenty of end of financial year lunches that have been going on the last few days, so people enjoying their refreshing lemon mocktails, or maybe something stronger, whatever
Yeah,
the
I
case may
know.
be.
Mine's like weak as I'm so boring. But yeah, it's the lemon mocktail.
Hey, look, I mean, it works for me. I don't drink anymore, so lemon mocktail sounds great to me. And it's good energy. Like you said, it's colorful, it's zesty, it's refreshing, great on a summer day when you're in the sun, you know, great when you're watching the rain come down. It's for all occasions.
Exactly.
Very good. I'm curious to know what's next for you, Kiara. Did I hear you mention you're considering working on some music videos? Is that right?
Yeah, so basically I finished writing a rap. One of my best friends is a producer and he's making a beat for me. So shout out to Terry. So yeah, he's making a beat for me and then we'll record the vocals, record the beat and go from there. But I might get him to make the beat and then go to my old producer and record it because I can like fully like be in my zone in that way. But I'm also putting together another audio book, which is similar to what I was before with the short pieces, but I've written a lot more and a lot more pieces, amazing pieces. So I'm going to put another audiobook together, but mainly focusing on my rap for now because my friend told me that I should only be focusing on 5 things at a time
Yeah.
because I focus on so much things. Because also, this is another creative thing, but I'm actually going to be doing modeling. So I'm getting my
Wow.
portfolio together with an agency. So I'm only allowed to focus on 5 things. So the rap is one of them. and the modeling and my Instagram videos and my artwork and my audiobook.
Amazing.
So then 5 things. It's the only things I can focus on right now. And like, I get in trouble if I focus on, they're like, bitch, stop focusing on other shit. You need to refrain from this shit. Stop it. Just cut it out. But yeah, so I'm going to focus on the rap. And so I've been putting that out. So that's the first thing that I've been putting out. And then my audiobook's just on the back end. Because the audiobook will take 2 sessions to create. It's nothing hectic. You know what I mean? Not like the first session when I was just like monotone. If you don't share it with anyone, maybe I'll send it to you just so you can have a laugh. And you can be like, oh my God, you were so monotone. It's not even funny.
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to. You're making the rest of us look bad, Kiara. You're a creative powerhouse out there.
No, no.
No, totally. Back to the music video, because that's the part that really intrigues me. Do you have a vision of what you want it to look like? Have you like storyboarded it, or is it still really early days?
So I've written down a few scenes that I want to do, and it's gonna be like a Lamborghini car. No, I'm joking. It's not.
I was going to say, can you rent those out? Or maybe you have a Lamborghini. I don't know.
It's my car. What are you talking about? No, I'm joking. No, I'm just gonna have like it will be like a lot of my girls, my girlfriends. I just kicking it in life, like doing mad things and doing a bit of twerking, doing a bit of dancing, doing a bit of shopping. Because it's really about like the start of it goes. I'll send you the start of it. So it's like he'd be blocking all the bees, his DMs for this candy kiss, waking up all shooky trying to reminisce. Putting it in his bookie, trying to savor this, saying he put the pen at the Ritz for this honeyness. So that's the start of it. So that's the vibe. So it's like the vibe is like a guy trying to be obsessed with you. You know, like putting in his book, trying to savor this. Like, come on. That's what the vibe that raps on.
No.
So the vibe is what he's trying to do, then what I feel about it, then what my girls feel about it, and then what I'm going to do about it. So that's the vibe.
Nice. Is there going to be a guest spot as well, or is it 100%
They're
Empress?
my guy, but I think no guy wants to be in it.
Because it's such a diss track, yeah.
Yeah, it's a diss track. And then this guy like pretending to be. I might have to hire someone because I don't think none of my guy friends are going to be down to be like a little bitch in the video.
Well, we know that Sabrina Carpenter, who's absolutely huge, casted her own partner, her own boyfriend in a music video where she's basically saying, oh, please don't turn out to be a fuckboy or whatever. So these things happen.
Yeah, I know. Maybe I'm going to start dating someone now to prepare. Maybe that's the sole purpose. I'm going to date someone. I'm going to be like, hey, I really like you. But then like a month later, I'll be like, so you want to be in this video clip?
Hey, there's no such thing as bad press.
The sacrifices. No, I'm joking.
That sounds like a riot. That sounds like you and your friends are going to have so much fun at realizing your vision and really taking things to the next level.
No, I know. I think it'll be really good. It'll be a good vibe. And the lines I have in it is so good. Like one of the lines it goes, he says he's from the trap saying he might need a hazmat. Like, come on. How good is that? Like, you're a virus, bitch. Like, if I see you, like, you're a virus. Like, I've got to wear a hazmat. Like, that's a good line.
I like it. I like it. we got to get a vaccine. That's my contribution to rap.
Yeah, I know. We have to put that in there. Seeing you, I need a vaccine.
I really hope that during this interview, I haven't taken on too many like rap mannerisms and tried to be like, hello, fellow kids, or anything like that. Sometimes I can't help it.
I have it. I love ratchet. This whole video clip, I've been so ratchet. I'm not talking about putting my hand in the cookie jar. I'm talking about like booty shaking. I'm out of control.
I love Hamilton. That's like the closest to rap that I kind of like. Like I said, I am so very white. So very white. Awesome. So Empress Kiara, you've been an absolute joy. If people want to follow your emergence as a rap superstar, as a creative powerhouse, where can they follow you? Where can they find your stuff?
Okay, so you can follow my Instagram, which is Kiara George. So it's KiaraGeorgee. Kiara
Nice.
George. And then my artwork is Kiara George with an extra E. My audiobook is just called The Beginning of the Empress, and it's on Spotify. And mostly if you've got Spotify Premium, you can listen to it like normally, and it's like on audio, it's on Apple, it's on all the other platforms as well.
Brilliant. And we'll have links for all those things in the episode description as normal. All right. One last piece of fire to take us out. What do you got for us with your last piece?
Okay, the last piece. I'm gonna hit it, never quit it, become it, breathe it, a star in the making, make room, she's baking. I'm legit, too hot to trip, too raw to whisper. Yes, that's my mister. Tall and handsome, I always pay the ransom. Never sweat it, never regret it. Always gonna eat, not ashamed to be weak. I'm always gonna speak. No threat too heavy, you're never gonna be ready. My hands are always steady. That's the best right there. I'ma make it, I swear. Believe in me, chill with me. Let's make some record. Let's make history. Check it, step it, aim for it. Got it.
Bam! The
Wow.
Empress Kiara, thank you for being a part of this. You've brought something really fresh and really different, and I think something that a lot of people are going to relate to. So thank you for bringing your flavor onto the show.
No, thanks so much for having me. I've had a really good time and I will definitely see you around soon. And yeah, it'll be good.
Absolutely. All right. Catch ya.
Catch ya, bye.
Weetabix fans, what's that all about?